Jacob was a young man in love. He had met Rachel, a beautiful shepherdess, and his heart was set on marrying her. Rachel's older sister, Leah, was also unmarried. But Jacob only had eyes for Rachel. This was the beginning of a complicated family story. Jacob agreed to work for Rachel's father, Laban, for 7 years in exchange for her hand in marriage. 7 years. That's how much Jacob loved Rachel. He was devoted and determined to make her his wife. The Bible says those years felt like only a few days to Jacob because of his great love for Rachel. Wedding preparations were underway. Finally, the day arrived. But Laban tricked Jacob on his wedding night. In the darkness, Laban substituted Leah, his older daughter, in place of Rachel. Imagine Jacob's shock in the morning. He woke up to find Leah beside him instead of Rachel. He had unknowingly married Leah. Jacob was angry and confused. He confronted Laban, who claimed it was customary to marry off the older daughter first. Leah was caught in the middle of this difficult situation. She became Jacob's wife, but she knew he didn't truly love her. Leah longed for Jacob's affection, but he favored Rachel. The Bible tells us that Leah was tender-eyed, which could mean she was beautiful in a less striking way than Rachel, or that her eyes were filled with sadness. Leah must have felt invisible and inadequate in the shadow of her sister. Despite the heartache, God saw Leah's pain. He blessed Leah with many children. She gave birth to 6 sons and 1 daughter. These children would become important figures in the history of Israel. God's blessings on Leah remind us that He sees the unseen. Even when we feel unloved or overlooked, God cares about us deeply. He has a plan for our lives, even in the midst of pain and disappointment. Over time, Jacob's heart softened towards Leah. He grew to appreciate her faithfulness and her role as the mother of his children. Leah's story reminds us that love can grow in unexpected ways. Their story is not a fairy tale romance, it is a real story about a complex family learning to navigate challenges and find their way to a place of greater understanding. A legacy of 12 tribes. From Jacob and his 2 wives, 12 sons were born. These sons became the fathers of the 12 tribes of Israel. Leah's children were Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Dinah. God used Leah, even though she was not Jacob's first love, to play a vital role in the future of his people. This shows us that God can use anyone, regardless of their circumstances, to fulfill his purposes. Finding love in unexpected places. The story of Jacob and Leah teaches us about the surprising ways love can unfold. It doesn't always look the way we expect. Sometimes love grows slowly and steadily over time. It can blossom in the midst of difficult circumstances. Just like Jacob and Leah, we might find ourselves in situations that are not ideal. We might long for love and acceptance, but their story reminds us to be open to God's plan, even when it doesn't make sense to us. Trusting God's plan. Life is full of twists and turns. We might not understand why things happen the way they do. Jacob wanted to marry Rachel, but God used Leah in a powerful way. This story reminds us to trust in God's plan, even when it's different from our own. God's ways are higher than our ways. He sees the bigger picture. We can trust that He is working all things together for our good, even when we don't see it. Faith through life's challenges. The story of Jacob, Rachel, and Leah is a reminder that faith isn't always easy. It's about trusting God even when life is hard. It's about believing in His goodness even when we don't understand His plans. Like Leah, we may face trials and disappointments, but we can find strength and hope in knowing that God is with us. He sees our pain, He hears our prayers, and He is working all things together for our good.